Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our afternoon session. We are down to the money part of the day. Not really money, but hey, the big awards part of the day. We've got the Sharing and Reuse Awards for 2019. We are going to be going through that now. If you would like to talk all about the Sharing and Reuse Awards, you can also use the hashtag SRAwards2019. If you want to specifically talk about those, that was hashtag SRAwards2019. So the way that we are going to do the next session is we are now going to hear from the 16 finalists. Each of them will be getting a 4-minute presentation. And as I said earlier, that our presentations and our finalists are not just from the open source community. They're not just about open source projects. Also, we're talking about potentially closed sourced. However, reusability of services, accessibility, these sort of things, these were also eligible in our service and reuse awards. So we're going to have 16 each. A nominee gets 4 minutes to go through their thing. We are going to be slamming through them. This is my favorite part. I get to host a lot of IT conferences, and usually it's some sort of startup event, right? And you know those startup kids, they all got to give their 3-minute pitch, and each of them have to come up really quick and do the 3-minute pitch. I get no greater pleasure in life than chucking some startup guy off the stage, dropping the hammer down. Sometimes they give me a bell. I get to sit there and passively, aggressively ring it when some guy's gone over his time. That's 3 minutes and 1 second. You're out. I won't be doing that today. However, we do need to get through each of these in some sort of quick time. So each of our 16 nominees will have 4 minutes to tell us about their solution. After that, we're going to be hearing some closing words from some of the VIPs that are in the room, thanking you for today, giving some sort of conclusions about what we have heard. And then after those closing words, then we will be hearing about the winners. And each of our nominees will be coming up here, and we will be announcing the winners in each of the categories. So this is the way that we will play the rest of the afternoon. So we better get to it. Each of them, our nominees are going to come up here. They're going to talk at the lectern. They get 4 minutes, and then they will exit the stage, and we will do this dance time and time again. So, to have our first presentation, I would like to welcome to the stage Frank ÅSELI.
Thank you very much. Excited to start the award session. And also, it's a pleasure to be shortlisted. Okay. I'm going to talk about not an open source solution or a project, but something we call the content-based loan application. And then you could think I work in a bank, but I don't work in a bank, I work in the public sector. So I do work with strategy, innovation and business development in an agency called Brønnøysundregistrene and Altinn, who is the business side of the Norwegian government, but it's made together with the finance sector. So my main work daily is to look at to increase socio-economic gain by private-public cooperations. So this content-based loan application is about digital sharing and reusing of what I call government authoritative, both government and business authoritative information. It's information that the Norwegian society trusts. And also it's sharing of what we could call business transformation models and how we do transformation of businesses by thinking about this. It's a sort of community as in open source. The information is then used in business processes in the Norwegian society. And the solution is what we call a peak of digitization in the Norwegian finance and government sector that has been going over years. And it leads to our private public government transformation. Issues addressed. Where do I see that? There's the time, okay. The main issue is that mortgage application can now do loaning process by giving digital consent to the Norwegian tax office, who have the information of income, debt and wealth that the banks need to do for process loaning. Instead of doing all the paperwork, that's a big crossover that was the earlier process. So now, when you start this process, a loaning commitment can be done in minutes. And to this solution, it's connected almost all the banks in Norway. The basis is again, year over years, digitization of the tax office tax dialogue, and also more lately the monthly payment digitization that's going to Norwegian tax and the statistics and the labor and welfare organization in Norway. It saves both the government and the banks a lot of work, and the application meets the goals of GDPR for data collection. And the socio-economic gain is about 1.32 million euros. So
I'm sorry to say, sir, but your time's up.
Yeah, thank you.
Please, round of applause for Frank. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All good. Thank you very much. We've left the clicker there. No problems. So a small bit part of me, and I should have given you a little bit more advice. When we come up here, your clicker is available, and also stand nice and close to the microphone so that we can hear you correctly. Let us move on now. The second pitcher is Gérard SOISSON. Take it away, sir.
Good afternoon to everybody. Is this the, okay. Okay. Good afternoon to everybody, and thanks for taking the time to listen to my presentation. We did choose this innovative shared IT service submitted for this Sharing and Reuse Awards, our once only building block, which is part of our MyGuichet platform, which is a transactional part of our one-stop shop, Guichet Alou, one-stop shop, but also a point of single contact, you could call this. This building block allows us to implement at the same time two of our central e-government principles. On the one side, once only principle. On the other side, we manage via this way also to give access to offer all our administrative procedures only via Guichet Alou, via our point of single contact, which is one of our e-government principles, our strategic objectives, offering all the procedures via one single portal. There's something that, okay, there are slides that have been added, okay. The Guichet Alou is composed of three parts, mainly of the informational part, which where more or less 1,660 procedures are described in all detail. Then there is the help desk, where you can have assistance via a phone or email. And finally, you have the transactional part, the MyGuichet Alou platform, where more or less 250 procedures are offered online. MyGuichet Alou is also exists for citizens and businesses, not only for citizens or businesses. And finally, via MyGuichet, you have access to your personal space after authentication. Via Secure ID, you can access many of the data kept on you by the government in different authentic sources. That means different registries, databases that are considered as authoritative, as reference databases. You can access your online procedures, past online procedures, ongoing online procedures, and you can finally access also the messages that are offered. On the once only building block mainly uses a pre-filling as once only as a mean to achieve once only, but we are also offering sometimes back office OOP. That means we are using in the back office data after asking for consent while the user is filling in a form and gives the consent, and afterwards this is done in the back office. There are some changes on the slides. I don't know why, but okay. Then we have to conclude. The once only building block is widely used. It is used in more than approximately 85 online procedures. That is more or less a third of all the online procedures that are offered via MyGuichet Alou. It is used by more or less 120 different public sector organizations. For example, all the municipalities used indirectly also this building block for some of their procedures. It is available for all public organizations. That means potentially and all procedures potentially for 300, 400, 500 public organizations, and for all imaginable online procedures, as MyGuichet Alou is a central platform that can be reused and should be reused and used by anybody. If you're interested in more figures, you have here a few more figures about MyGuichet in general, but I think that I have more or less spent my time. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Beautiful. Our next speaker comes from Finland. Please have a round of applause for Jani RUUSKANEN.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Since I have only a little bit of time, I'm going to go straight to the business. I'm going to tell twice this today, so we have two services in the competition, so I've heard 4 minutes is very short time. Suomi.fi-Finnish service Catalogue is a base register which is based on CPSV application profile, and it contains the metadata of all the public services and service channels in Finland. And this is an open source solution that is run by the Population Register Center and financed by the Ministry of Finance. And I'm coming from the Population Register Center, where I'm actually leading the development of all our Suomi.fi services. And those services create the national architecture for digital services in Finland. So they are basically mandatory to use by all public sector organizations in Finland, and they are free to use by the private sector organizations as well. And this catalog of services is in use in all Finnish municipalities and government organizations, and it's open source solution, although it's in the category of shared ICT services, so feel free to use our solution. There are a lot of organizations providing the data from their own systems through our open API, or using the catalog as a base register on which they build their own websites. So the idea is to use the same information once from our base register. We have currently about 600 organizations and 5,000 content producers using the solution, and approximately 150,000 descriptions. And this is actually the basis of our national portal, Suomi.fi, for the citizens to use and find all the public services in Finland and all the service channels. And the idea is that this is structured data which is fully based on an annotation and ontology services. And this means that it can be easily fetched and found on other web services as well. We have included things like a quality agent, which actually checks automatically the Finnish, English and Swedish text, and gives the users corrections on how to make it more accessible. And we have also created a sort of an experimental AR solution, which you can download on your Android phone. You can see that on video on the foyer, how the citizens can find the solution, these services using the application as well. I want to emphasize that this service catalog and our national portal Suomi.fi are our means to fill the requirements of the Single Digital Gateway Act, which is going to require every member state to provide the information about the services and service channels to the EU Europe portal by the end of next year. So we are kind of there already. So we have a single point of sort of national portal and the catalog where to fetch all that information. And we are also currently implementing sort of experimental AI solutions, which means that we're trying to find a way to automatically create those descriptions from the public sector websites content. And also, we are adding more detailed information about the services, about the quality of the services, and the amount of use of the services on different channels. And obviously, we are here because we want you, other member states, to fetch out, take our solution, start using that, so we can make it possible to exchange the information about the services cross-border as well. That's it. 1 second.
Kiitos, Jani. Thank you. So we have one more nominee in the first category, which is Most Innovative Shared IT Services. The final nominee, please welcome to stage Marta GARABUGGIOM.
Good afternoon to all. I'm Marta, but here I'm especially YUCCA, Smart Data Platform of Piedmont region, Italy. And for starting, 5 questions. What's YUCCA? What's doing, user and used, innovative and future? Well, YUCCA is the Smart Data Platform for sharing and reuse, and is a cloud solution to offer to public and private sector innovative services connected to data. YUCCA was conceived, designed, and offered in adherence to reference model in open data source community. And what about the actor? Well, Piedmont region with the data vision, and CSI Piedmont, the IT in-house of the region with technology. Very important is YUCCA is in part financed by EU fund. And what is doing? Connect object, people, system, facilitate access to innovative technology, allow circulation of information, provide a big data store, provide tools for data discovery and data analytics, and in a few words, it's used for real-time manage structured and unstructured data like object, people, system, and device. Support project from business intelligence to advanced analytics. And YUCCA solution used and reused. 2 billion of measures, 1,500 of device connected, 29 projects just done, 7 incoming, 12 subject reusing. And the projects are relevant to environment, school, energy, smart community, security, health, and transport. And what about innovative? Technological innovation, yeah. In fact, manage and integrate real-time with other kind of data. It's neutral and can be adapted to any business need. Is available for public and private institutions. Is pay-per-use. It makes it easy to use technology to exploit data, help business and support decision following a big data approach. And what about the future, the challengers? Increase the data lake, more data and more quality. Improve and evolve the technological platform. We would like to create new observatories, and decision-making service, and multi-sources, and multi-file dashboard. And at the end, if I sum up YUCCA, we can say IoT plus IOP plus public sector open data plus private data plus big data equal YUCCA. Open, share, and reuse smart data platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. 30 seconds under time. I love it. That was the final nominee in the most innovative shared IT services category. Now we are moving on to shared IT services with the biggest impact on businesses and citizens. Please welcome José, Antonio, EUSAMIO.
Hi. Thank you to everyone for your hospitality. Here I'm going to present the data intermediation platform and the SCSP portfolio. What is that? This is standardized services for data verifications, making once only principle a reality right now in Spain. This is an end-to-end solutions based on citizen-centric principles. So we are able to provide from the foundations, from the very foundations of the software, we have an end-to-end business approach, software component and data sharing protocol, which is the framework of the solutions. But this was not enough. In our experience, we moved to end-user applications, and we realized that we need to offer cloud services, software as a services for all the public administrations. As Fernando said this morning, we are over 10,000 different public administrations. There are many, many different realities. So we have defined an expandable, scalable, and efficient, collaborative, and sustainable solutions based on a very well-defined model that we are right now in position to say that we are coping with the once-only principle right now. Which are our data? What has been our experience? We are offering right now over 120 different data services. Last year, we made 80 million data transmissions from many different data providers, over 50 different data providers. And it was consumed by almost 1,200 different public administrations of all levels, different approach. From the software point of view, it has been reused for more than 100 public administrations. We have this table with the figures, which we have saved almost 40 million euro. So, which is the benefit of our solutions? Our benefit is clearly productivity increase for the citizens. We are saving money and time for the citizens, and also for the public administrations. We have not to check all the papers. We are moving forward to a paperless administration. So we are in positions to offer value-added services right now. We saved, from the beginning of the project, over 2,000 millions. This is the equivalent to 20 full-equipped hospitals. So putting in something that the citizens can touch, something tangible. Which is the future? The future is we are preparing to collaborate more heavily than we have done right now before with a private side of our society. We are offering some services which are shared, the responsibility is shared between the private sector and the public sector. We are also approaching to a full, complete live event coverage, like the birth, the change of address, and many others. So that will offer full service with added value to the citizens. We must think on citizens first. That's we are fully committed on that. And also we are total compliance with the GDPR. So this is on the foundations, and also with transparency. Citizens can check every single data transmission that has been done of their data. So citizen has always the full control of our solutions. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next in the category of shared IT services with the biggest impact on business and citizens. Please welcome to the stage Eva JANCZAR.
Good afternoon. For us, it's a great pleasure to be here with you. In a moment, we will briefly present our solution, which integrate digital services and also special data. Gate of Mazovia, 300 Mazovian municipalities, counties, and also Mazovia region together. Let's movie start.
Do you remember this cold, rainy day? You did not want to leave home so much, but you had to. After all, you took a day off to settle the case. And this traffic jam in the city, the way to the office takes over an hour. And there is a crowd on the spot already and a queue for half a day. It's good that at least the clerk was helpful and explained everything step by step. You have filled out all the necessary forms, but did you do it correctly? And the payment? Another queue. And after weeks of waiting, request to complete the missing information. Fortunately, nowadays you do not have to take a day off and stand in a queue to deal with official matters. You do not even have to leave your home. We present you the Gate of Mazovia website, where you can choose e-services provided by Mazovian local government units. The website enables residents and entrepreneurs to submit forms at any time, from anywhere. On the Gate of Mazovia portal, you can search for the e-services provided by the local government units. Fill in the form, create a document, certify it with an electronic signature, and send it with attachments to the appropriate office. Make the necessary payments online. Receive an official delivery note of sent documents. Monitor the history, case status, correspondence, and attach additional documents. Forms and new e-services can be created at ease and available to all local government units using the solution. Offices may decide which e-services are offered to clients. Residents can safely use the services on the Gate of Mazovia in 3 ways: services for residents, services for entrepreneurs, services for institutions and offices. After selecting the category, there are services available classified by topics. For example, architecture and spatial planning, property management, education, environmental protection, social policy, etc. After selecting a specific service, full description of it is visible. After selecting the competent office, you can complete and submit an electronic application, make a payment and receive a reply. The Gate of Mazovia contains 2 other components available for clients: Mazovian Spatial Information System, MSIP, and monitoring the development of Mazovia. Electronic communication between both clients and local government units in the Mazovia region helps increasing the availability of services in local government units, increasing the reliability, completeness and consistency of data used by local government units, reduction of costs and time of carrying out cases. The Gate of Mazovia is used by 314 local government units from Mazovia region, with 95 standardized electronic forms and 213 e-services descriptions. Thanks to its universality, it favors the standardization of self-government public services in the region that are available in one place on a common utility platform. Currently, 1,486 standardized e-services are available on the Gate of Mazovia. 1,303 of them have their electronic forms attached. Our next steps will be to implement new and promote existing electronic forms and public services. We plan to encourage the local government units to develop electronic communication and participate in the process of digitalization, as well as to increase the user's digital competence. See you online. Gate of Mazovia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, in the shared IT services with the biggest impact on business and citizens, please welcome Karel VAN EECKHOUTTE.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, information can save lives, especially in the medical world. Think about faster and better diagnostics. Think about patients not having to take medicine to which they are allergic. Think about long-term evaluation for implants. In Belgium, we have a government-funded exchange platform that just does exactly that. The eHealth platform helps medical professionals share and retrieve information. This is not a trivial task. We are talking about a landscape with hundreds of institutions, over 170,000 medical professionals, and a total Belgian population of over 11 million. They all need to consult authentic data sources to check citizens' insurance status with dozens of mutual insurance companies. Meanwhile, the eHealth platform needs to respect privacy regulations. It needs to be highly secure, and it needs to work day and night, 24/7. Given the broad and highly diverse landscape, Belgium has chosen a decentralized approach. Putting all medical information in a central data store would be too risky, too stringent, and simply not feasible for many actors. Instead, eHealth platform offers basic components. They are building blocks offered free of charge to institutions, hospitals, pharmacists, doctors, and independent software vendors. We provide documented interfaces, allowing everyone to integrate and reuse what is already there. We share information, we avoid duplicating data stores and duplicating ICT efforts. Broad adoption is the real success of eHealth in Belgium. 3 out of 4 Belgian citizens already agreed to sharing their medical data online through the eHealth platform. Some 3.4 million citizens have summary electronic health records. Doctors and pharmacists deliver 5 million electronic prescriptions each month. Altogether, transactions on the eHealth platform are totaling more than 1 billion per month, or more than 13 billion per year. The eHealth platform is one solid example of sharing and reuse, with contributions from the private and public sector. Recently, a new initiative has started promoting ICT reuse across the Belgian social security and public sector. The eHealth platform is one of many actors contributing components. A catalogue of reusable components already counts more than 70 contributions. I'd like to thank all the contributing institutions. Together, they are fostering a true culture of ICT reuse. Together, they also reap the benefits in terms of faster development cycles, better software quality, and measurable cost reduction in 2018. I'd like to thank private and public sector parties for showing genuine interest in our initiative. And finally, I'd like to thank the organization and the professional jury for giving us this important recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have one more nominee in shared IT services with the biggest impact on businesses and citizens. Please welcome back Jani RUUSKANEN.
Hi again. Hi Poland, I should have thought that for 2 services to be presented, the video would have been a good idea. So, Suomi.fi-Authorizations, it's a shared national service for reliable verification of a person's or organization's authorization mandate on digital services on a right to use on the digital services on behalf of another person or organization. And this service consists of 3 kind of approaches. So we have the register-based checking of a authority, which means that our solution connects to the base registers in Finland. Then we have the user interfaces on our national portal for citizens to create or request for the digital mandates. Then we have the rule engine that can be used for those authorities using our service to have more detailed rules and restrictions that can be used on their service. And again, this service is run centrally by our organization and financed by the Ministry of Finance. This service is also mandatory to use by the law if there's a need for authorization, but this is also available freely for the private sector organizations and third sector organizations. So basically the government has invested on authorization service that can be used by anyone in Finland to enhance the digital services. This is open source also, so if you want to check in what we are doing, you can find the source codes, and we are updating that all the time. Few of the statistics, we've launched this like a year and a half ago, but the biggest deployments are going on currently. So we have like 80 different digital services using the e-authorization service already. And we checked that the last month, or actually April, we had like 1.5 million queries made to our authorization solution. And there have been more than 3 million digital mandates created by the citizens in Finland. And if you bear in mind, we have 5.5 million people in the country, so basically most of them have had to do something already. And we expect these numbers to triple at least by the end of this year. There are a few examples of the use, how different authorities are using the e-authorizations. For example, to make it possible for parents to act on behalf of their underage children. This is registry-based. Or organizations on acting behalf of other organizations. Adult children acting on behalf of their parents. This comes to do more with the accessibility issues as well in the future. So there can be authorizations that can be made also in the physical world next year. So those people who don't even have computers or eIDs in Finland can still authorize others to represent them on the digital services. And this is our approach on how we get the elderly people in. There are some estimations that we can save up to 6 to 10 euros per transaction compared to the paper world. So this service definitely has some impact on both the accessibility level and also on the financial level. We are currently still developing this further, so we are going to include also acting on behalf of associations, which is going to be by the end of this year. This is registry-based, and we are also building up a user interface that organizations can create those digital mandates for their clients on behalf of the clients as well. And the idea is that this authorization solution replaces a separate eID solution in Finland, which we currently use for the organizations to identify in the digital services. So next year, every user in Finland will authenticate themselves, and the services check from our service who they can represent. Thank you.
Thank you, Jani. We are now moving along to the third category, which is most innovative open source software. And the first nominee is Arnau MONTERDE.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much. I'm going to present Decidim. And to understand Decidim, first of all, we have to understand the context in which Decidim was born. First of all, we have to understand the relation between technology and politics. We have to understand that the context of data surveillance that we are living. We have to understand a huge desire to improve our democracies in our societies, and a huge civil society organized claiming for that. And we have to understand too that the technology and the new changes of the future in our democracies will come led by technology too. What is Decidim? Decidim is a platform to cover any kind of participatory process like participatory budgeting, collaborative text, strategic planning, consultations, but also it works as a social network, or we talk about political network because enable political relations between citizens and between the public institutions. It is also a free software project using a GPL 3.0 license, and also it is a community, which means that we are building a democratic governance of the software, helping and pushing the free software project inside it. Here we have some numbers. Actually, the Decidim has a technological architecture based on modularity, which allows the project to scale and to grow very fast. And this is why a lot of public institutions, cities, regional and national governments are using this technological solution with a lot of active participants and users around the world. And also, maybe the most important case is the case that we are leading in Barcelona, where we have a huge, massive participatory process in the city. For example, strategic planning with more than 30,000 citizens' proposals, and 9,000 of that has been converted in public policies during the last 3 years. Why Decidim is an innovative technological solution? Because, first of all, because it's free software. It's a public money invested in public code. Actually, the city of Barcelona invests more than 1 million euros, and today each city just with 2,000 or 3,000 euros paying a developer can run the whole participatory digital infrastructure for their own city. It is also innovative because we are giving security to the participants through data protection and through giving security in the participatory process. It is innovative because it's providing new ways to be involved citizens on the public affairs in our cities, but also in our regions and also in our national governments. But also, we are creating new democratic ecosystems. Decidim has the ability to be built in any kind of organization. You can run Decidim for a huge NGO or a big federation or a social organization or a union or whatever you want in order to improve the democratic dynamics inside any kind of organization. And for example, one example of that is in Barcelona. In the case of Barcelona, Decidim is just not running in the participation level. It's running also in the public companies to have participation, providing as a service to organization, but also using internally to provide ways to participate to the public workers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Second in the category of most innovative open source software. Now, please welcome to the stage, Antonin GARRONE.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm Antonin GARRONE. I work for Betagouv within the French government, and today I'll be presenting to you open-FISCA. Did you ever struggle to know which tax you have to pay or which benefit you are entitled to? Probably, right? Did you know that parliaments in many countries suppress or implement a tax or benefit with very little knowledge on the impact of their vote? Well, open-FISCA is an open source platform that aims to solve these two problems. open-FISCA assists in the process of turning legislation into informatic code in order to make the law computable. Making the law computable enables us to do two main things. First, to build simulators to answer the question I asked you earlier. Second, to measure the impact of a reform. The redistributive impacts in terms of disposable income for the citizen, but also the budgetary implication for the state. This is very important for us for three reasons. First, to make legislation more transparent by enabling citizens to have a better understanding of their rights. Second, to objectify the legislation preparation by fostering the use of ex-ante simulation, and finally, by rationalizing public expenses by avoiding duplicate and share a common language between administration. Open-FISCA is a service funded by the administration, but it aims to profit to everyone. It is a positive showcase of the will of the administration to be part of the open government and state as a platform approach. State as a platform doesn't mean that the government display service solution for every stakeholder. It means that it collaborates with every stakeholder to create more value. Among our users, we have, of course, administration, but also businesses and civil society. Let me mention two examples of administration using open-FISCA. We have MEZED, which is a simulator enabling citizens to assess their entitlement to social benefit across most French agencies, including at the local level. And we have a lot of agencies in France. Another example is Lex Impact, an ongoing project with the French National Assembly to allow deputies to measure the impact of a reform before proceeding to vote through a very simple interface. Open-FISCA is innovative for technical reasons, such as the fact that we do the same computation at the individual and at the population level, but also the fact that we display a web API to enable our users to develop a web application. But it is also radically innovative for social and organizational reasons. It is a positive showcase of actual government construction, as anyone can use and contribute to open-FISCA. It is in fact a community rather than a software. Finally, open-FISCA is so special because its engine is independent from the system of rule of a country. Therefore, any country can simulate its own tax and benefit system on top of open-FISCA. And this is becoming a global movement under the name of computational law. And at this day, 11 countries have started to model their own tax and benefit system thanks to open-FISCA. And I hope your countries are next. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir. We have two more in the most innovative open source software category. Please welcome to the stage Ziggy van Eeckhoutте.
Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank the organization for inviting me to this very interesting conference in the lovely city of Bucharest, and also for shortlisting our solution in this ceremony. Today I'm going to talk about the Oslo Validator, and the Oslo Validator is a tool. It's a soft piece of open source software that enables you to validate your data against application profiles that have been standardized. My name is Ziggy van Eeckhoutte, and I'm working for the Flanders Information Agency. The Flanders Information Agency is the agency in the government of Flanders that is building a digital government for Flanders. I'm heading the Authoritative Data Sources program, and the Oslo initiative, what we are talking about, is also based in that program. Oslo is an initiative that stands for Open Standards for Linked Organization. The main work we do there is actually come up with semantic data standards. We do that according to a standardized process and methodology, and we come up with vocabularies and application profiles for a wide range of different domains. And for most of those domains, we actually extend to the ISA core vocabularies. The Oslo Validator, as I told you, allows you to validate your RDF against a shackle file. It actually compares to good old data validation. You can check the compliance of your data to an application profile, and I'm calling it good old because it looks like what we used to do with Schematron for XML validation. So it validates multiplicities, data types, constraints, etc. And also shackle became a W3C recommendation in 2017. Now you might wonder, how can I get to these shackle files? How do I develop those files? Next to the Oslo Validator, we also have an Oslo toolchain available, which is also freely available. It's also open source. And this is a tool chain that actually creates a number of artifacts from UML, and one of those artifacts is shackle. So if you use the Oslo tool chain, you can come up with your shackle files, and then you can pump them into the Oslo validator to validate your data. What does it look like? Here we see the web form. You can choose to either validate a file or a service. This is the service. You choose a profile, one of the application profiles, then you upload your file, and then you click validate. Or you use a service where you also choose a profile, then you enter the URI, and then you validate. After the validation, you get the result. In this case, there's 3 issues with your data file, so the validator reports 3 issues. After issue solving, you can run the validator again, and then you will see that your file is valid. A number of use cases, a number of users can actually make use of this Oslo validator. A business analyst can use it to check whether the data model, whether the data will fit into the model. The developer can check whether his code is correct. The product owner can test whether the new service is compliant. And also the data supplier can check whether his data are fit for supplying to the system. In short, today we are sharing for reuse the tool chain, the Oslo tool chain to produce shackle. We also sharing the shackle validator service. You can run the validator on your own machine because we have also providing it in Docker containers. And the software is on GitHub, so you can also use it from there. In short, if you're looking for a solution to validate your data against application profiles, we kindly invite you to reuse our Oslo validator. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have one more in the category of most innovative open source software. Please welcome to the stage Elena Munoz Salinero.
Thank you for this opportunity. In this short time, I will try to highlight the advantages of this solution. Nowadays, a typical topic and concern is the digitalization of public administrations. However, we must keep in mind that technology must be the key to closing gaps and not the excuse for opening new ones. Therefore, we must build e-government services where all citizens can benefit from them, independently of their technological or physical condition. In that concern acts the Web Accessibility Directive, not only asking electronic public services to be fully accessible, but also forcing member states to implement a policy for monitoring and reporting about accessibility in their public sector websites, both to encourage enforcement and transparency. The Web Accessibility Observatory Tracker can be the solution. On one side, it can perform monitoring exercises, covering thousands of websites, tens of pages per website, and more than 100 checks per page. The tool covers all the full process, configuration, analysis, reporting. On the other side, the OAT tracker allows the provision of an online service for the diagnosis of accessibility, a shared service for all public administrations. When we developed this tool, we wanted to extend its benefits to the maximum of institutions. First, we considered every Spanish government organism that needed help and services around accessibility. Therefore, we added to the tracker the shared service. This free service is already reused by more than 800 users all over Spain, covering national, regional, and local institutions. Secondly, we thought about exporting this proof useful model to institutions outside Spain. Therefore, we produced a translatable version and released it under the UPL license at the end of 2017. In this time, both the government of Argentina and Costa Rica are reusing the solution, amplifying the effect of reusability thanks to the shared service to their numerous public administrations. As As already analyzed by the European Commission, there are scarce initiatives like this, not only in Europe, but all over the world. And among them, and additionally to other advantages, the YUCCA tracker is the only one totally open source. The social impact is undeniable, but that can only be achieved by business process innovation. The validation of accessibility should be included in all the phases for developing, maintaining, and updating information in websites. Finally, the implementation of a centralized monitoring model covering thousands of websites, but using reduced resources, is a new obligation, and so a necessary model. Finally, to conclude, how do we foresee the future? First of all, maintenance has been guaranteed, sealing the activities of the observatory by law. However, that's not enough. The key factor for us has been the building of a strong community of different interstate actors that have been collaborating all over the years to create a product that fulfills their needs. And of course, collaborative decision-making in official working groups is a must. Regarding functionality, our main concern is compliance with the Web Accessibility Directive, with optimized resources on our side and with the highest possible benefits for public administrations and citizens. Collaboration, coordination, and open source can make this happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we have our final category. We had 3 categories, now we have the final one. This is open source software with the biggest impact on business and citizens. Please welcome Santiago GRAñA-DOMÍNGUEZ.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm proud to present this afternoon the eFirma project, which is truly one of the most successful building blocks in digital administration used in Spain throughout the 3 levels of administration. It's one of the building blocks like the ones mentioned by our General Secretary, Fernando de Pablo, early this morning. And it's very popular because it provides common services across most digital services that public administrations want to provide to citizens and businesses. The type of functions that eFirma platform provides is the validation of electronic certificates throughout the realm of 200 trust service providers across Europe, 26 in Spain, the rest in Europe, and also validation of electronic signatures, and to a lesser extent other functions like electronic signatures, upgrades and creation. The importance for this validation of certificates is that in Spain, although in our authentication platforms we provide mechanisms based on username and passwords or on one-time passwords, the vast majority of businesses and citizens still use electronic certificates. Prior to the use of this, to the existence of this platform, public organizations, and we have thousands in Spain at various levels, either had to support a limited amount of TSPs or going into the hassle of connecting to, as I said, 200 TSPs across Europe, whereas with this platform, with only one connection, you have these 200 TSPs on board. And on top of that, no coding is required to maintain and increase the base of TSPs as they come live. In the last year, our public administrations could use as a common service the central system, eFirma platform, and register nearly 500 million transactions, as I said, last year, with more than 1,600 e-government services connected to the platform. More than 25 organizations could also have their replicas for high volume operation, not impacting the common service. And back in February this year, we also open sourced the solution so everybody can benefit. We have had requests even from Latin America to open source the solution so they could benefit from it. With 1 decade of hard work developing the solution, we currently have a mature solution focused on high availability and high performance, but because businesses and citizens are still ramping up in the usage of digital services, we expect an increase in usage fourfold in the next 3-year period, which is quite daunting. And of course, we will continue implementing and adopting European standards, especially from electronic certificates and electronic signatures as they come into place. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next up in the category of open source software with the biggest impact on business and citizens, please welcome Borja Prieto.
Good afternoon. Consul is free software for real citizen participation. You know what is free software, so let's see what is real citizen participation. With the help of a little Slovenian town that is using Consul, maybe not all of you speak Slovenian, but you get the picture. So the idea is some citizens have ideas to improve their city, they submit to the platform, people discuss it in the platform, they vote and they decide if these ideas should be implemented, and they get done. This is simple, but it's actually radically revolutionary. It transforms how the public administration operates and how they relate with their citizens. So let's see a real example. This is Gran Via Street, the busiest city in Madrid. And we asked our citizens if we should give more space to pedestrians. You see some posters saying vote no, vote yes. This is actually the campaign for the voting, and people decide to take one lane out of the cars and give it to have more wide sidewalks. Okay, some figures about Madrid. For reference, we have 3.5 million inhabitants, so it's pretty impressive. The key thing here is we gave this tool to our citizens, and they embrace the tool and make real good use of it. We are really proud of our citizens. And being free software, we have shared it with all other cities, whether regional, national governments around the world, from New York to Mogadishu, from little towns to national governments. More than 130 administrations are using the software. And the thing here is that by sharing our technology, we have been able to share knowledge, to share best practices, to share ideas, and this is especially important when we are talking about something innovative, something that nobody has done for a lot of time, like citizen participation. And we have also had the opportunity to work with some supranational and international organizations. We are working with the UNPD in Somalia. We are working with the UNPD also in incorporating citizen participation in the Sustainable Development Goals of the 2030 Agenda of the United Nations. We are working in Cyprus with the World Bank to join, to let the two communities, the Turkish and the Greek community, to work together to the reunification of the island. A lot of cool projects around the world are being done thanks to Consul. So it has been an amazing journey, as the Greek poet Konstantin Kavafi said, full of adventure, full of discovery. The only thing left is to invite you to join us in this amazing journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We have two more nominees to go in the category of open source software with the biggest impact on business and citizens. Please welcome to the stage Philippe Barret.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Philippe Barret. I'm representing the city of Paris, where I work as a technical project manager. So, long story short, what is LUTES about? If you have to remember only one thing about it today, is that a very powerful city services engine that provides a modular platform based on lightweight core features on which we can add plugins already made available on shelves or that you just customized. It's also a solution based on real needs over time and constantly evolving, and which provides more than 200 city services for Paris, among others. So it's also an open source platform for cities. As it's made in Java, it enables quick deployment of city services based on standards. So it's secure, GDPR compliant, and it also offers solutions commonly needed in a municipal context, because let's face it, there's no large or small cities. They all share, let's say, 70% of their needs. It provides a citizen relationship management, CRM, C for citizens, okay, not customer. And it also is reused for internally for our 60,000 civil servants in the city of Paris, and provides with a powerful workflow engine that enables specific actions for business applications. So, as I told you, it was released no, I haven't told you yet, but it's released as open source software since 2002, and it's used in Paris for that much of time. And it's a quick way to develop the elected officials' engagement to the public, and it's used as standard applications or hacked for specific needs. Reused by many cities in France, such as the city of Lyon, which is the second city in France, and they've voted that all new digital services would be developed on Lutè's platform, and they contribute back. Many other cities use it, and the platform is also used overseas in the US in a non-government organization in Baltimore, at the St. Francis Center, to provide services for leftover communities. So more than 200 digital services in Paris, and it offers a normed development framework for two reasons. First one is to make the administration easier, to facilitate the citizens' life on an everyday basis. Just to take a couple of examples, the TELUS ones, based on the innovative ID management using France Connect, as well as a single sign-on with the CRM, where the citizen can access a dashboard knowing every issue that is being issued by the city. It also helps people get involved in the city, as it's a priority for Mayor Hidalgo to let the Parisians be actors in their city with a participatory budget, public consultation, and so on. So next step, as we're in the context of low and decreasing budgets, we don't have that much amount of money to market, but we're trying to raise awareness of the solution more broadly, build communities, and have more pilots and adoption. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. We are down to the final nominee. 15 done, one more to go. Now, so in the category of open source software with the biggest impact on business, please welcome Annika KLUGE.
Hello, my name is Annika and I come from Estonia, from the Information System Authority. I'm talking about open-eID, so Open Electronic Identity, which is the cornerstone of e-governance as we see it. In Estonia, ID card and the first digital signature came into the picture in 2002, not 8 as in this picture. And after that, we have implemented some new cards and additional methods, additional electronic identities like mobile ID in 2011, and an e-resident card in 2014. The ID card and all the other forms then are the primary electronic identity and like the basis of the whole software solution as well, because every Estonian citizen who's at least 15 years old has to have an ID card. And with the ID card, you can get into all our e-services and give digital signatures. Then 99% of people living in Estonia have an active ID card. At least in 2018 they did. And 76% of all those people are active users. That means that they use the ID card at least once in 6 months electronically then. Our main principles are the open source. The whole software is available on GitHub. It's transparent, it's reliable, regular security tests are being done. We use only trusted and accepted service providers. You can use the public certificates of a person unlimitedly, and we are really focused on cross-border compatibility. With our software, you can authenticate yourself. You can give a legally binding signature that's with the highest level of authority in European Union, or a legally binding stamp if you're a legal entity, not a person. You can see all the electronic identities that are issued for you. You can encrypt and decrypt files for secure delivery, and you can also interact then between systems. 98 of Estonian public e-services are available as e-services. We have in total more than 2,000 different e-services, and its use is not limited to the public sector. In the last election, 43% of votes were cast as I-votes. We are implementing the latest, greatest European signature format and the container format, and we are dealing with the legacy, so making sure that nothing is being compromised with older algorithms or formats. We are supporting Finnish, Latvian, Lithuanian electronic identity. With the e-resident card, everyone from all around the world can use our e-services, and we are implementing e-IDs. Thank you.
Aitäh!